I'm not a mother, obviously. Like, don't ask me to wrap a baby in a cotton cloth.
I just hold the kids with my mouth by the loose skin on the back of their neck.
That's right.
Yeah, like a cat. I don't even know how to do that with flexible. My animals. Like, I tried to, they call it scruffing. I tried to scruff my cat when she was a kitten, and she like struggled. They said that they're supposed to go limp. And when my friends do it, like they came to visit me and they'd scruff my cat, and she was just like, okay, you're my mommy. No, when I did, she was like, ah!
What are you doing? Gosh. Why are you doing this?
So I can't even do that with an animal, so much less a human.
Cats are so weird and touchy though. Like if you don't approach them just the right way, they don't handle it.
Oh boy, do I ever know. Like this. These are all cat wounds because I'm always trying to shoulder sit my cat. Chris can. You guys, it rides like a fucking pirate parrot on my husband's shoulders. He walks around. I have a cat that can do that too.
Yeah, I have a cat. I can throw it over my shoulder like a baby and it just like chills there. But cats are weird, man. Like there's another cat we have and my wife is fine with it. When I go next to it, it's like, no.
Oh, well, my oldest cat fucking hates my husband. Hates him. He can't even touch her. If he touches her, she'll like flip out and bite him or scratch him, and she growls and hisses at him. But she'll like lie on my stomach, and then she'll come up to me for affection, and she'll look at him like, do you see what I'm doing? You're jealous, aren't you? Like, I'm serious. She does it out of spite. Because I don't think she particularly loves me either. I just think she's trying to make him pissed.
I love cats, but cats are jerks. Like in the best way possible. I don't have any cats right now, but I've had cats, and like my favorite thing that they would do, and also least favorite thing that they would do, is they would play with you, bite,
and then bite.
Then suddenly it's not playing, and you don't know when that marker is. Yeah, you know what I mean. You don't know the line with a cat.
Yeah, they're just like done now.
Yeah, that's the line. They bite you. The line's been crossed.
They've drawn blood. Whereas a dog, like William has this puppy that's adorable. It starts to get a little toothy, and it's almost like it's testing. And there is a line. As soon as it starts to get a little too bitey, you're just like, no. And it's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just tasting you.
We've been so right now. My my arms are just like all scratched and clawed up because
you must taste delicious.
Well, and it's not just it a little bit of that. We've been doing this thing where like you're supposed to, like, when she bites too hard, like pull that part back and then just make like a yipping noise just to sort of like go like, hey, like you're playing too hard. But the other thing though is at that size, their little claws are just little bitty needles.
Super
so even when she just like climbs up on you, it's just like scratch. So I mean, I look like I've been through the ringer right now.
But their teeth are also needle sharp when they're that age, you know?
They are.
What is she, an Australian type dog or what?
Yes, actually. So she is a Texas healer, which is like a blend of like Australian healer, Australian shepherd. So it's sort of like a slightly broader like red healer.
There's a Texas breed? Like specifically Texas breed?
Yeah, and what's so funny though is it's called a Texas healer, but it's a blend of two Australian breeds. So I don't know where that one came from, but that's where she got the name Adelaide from, since it was Australian.
She looks kind of Australian dotty, and then you named her Adelaide, and I was like, oh.
And we always have a rule that, like, if we name one of our pets, we try to have a long name and then a short name. That's just become one of our things. So, like, I've got Huckleberry. Oh, so she's Addie for short.
Addie.
Yeah. So that way they have.
Saoirse is only 2 syllables, but Saoirse is also, her nickname is Fatto. And just still 2 syllables. Saoirse is Fatto.
Yeah, like we have Penelope and Penny, and Huckleberry is Huck. So, it's sort of like just like the formal name and the common name. I don't know where that came from for us, but it's just
Coffee is Beans for some reason. I don't even know why we call. Oh, I do know why we call her Beans. You guys, William knows about my old dog because like he was a big part of Gentilly. He was one of the stars of Gentilly.
Oh, that little skinny dog that's
The
bouncing
skinny
around.
whippet.
Yeah.
That's it. Mango, and who I dedicated this
Mango.
film to.
I was actually going to ask that, so good bringing that up.
Yeah, I dedicated the film to him because he passed away while we were writing the script.
Oh, that sucks.
And Mango's name in Gentilly was Moo. Moo. Oh God, it's such a long story. You guys are gonna have like horrible time editing this because we're just like talking about bullshit. You know, we're just
editing?
As far as I know, we're just hanging out and we'll put it up. However, it doesn't.
If anyone
Nobody's
edits, it's
watch
gonna be
it. They're gonna watch
Greg.
like 3 hours. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? We're not talking about anything.
The whole conceit of this was hey, we all got the Blu-ray of The Long Walk. Let's drink and hang out.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if it lasts
I mean,
15
I'd
minutes,
love to hang
great.
out
If it lasts
anyway,
18
and-
hours, that might be a bit long. But
Yeah, I mean, I love to meet. I would love to meet you too, and like I said, I would want to hang out with William anyways because I like have missed him. Yeah, so Moo was a weird name. It started out not because of the Lao language. When I was at the Salt Lake City Ballet Conservatory, one day we were walking him on one of my breaks from class past this ice cream shop called Maggie Moo's. And I don't know if that's a franchise in the States or what, but it had like this dancing cow. And it was like this amazing thing. And the cow was really skinny, like Mango. And it was black and white spotted, like a Holstein, right? And Mango also had spots, and he was a predominantly white dog. And I was trying to say something about Maggie Moo and Mango, and I just said Moo. Like I had a total brain fart moment. It was like Moo. And Chris was like, what did you just call him? I was like, Moo. And I don't know, something about being at the Maggie Moo's with my spotted dog under the spotted cow logo. And I kept saying moo, moo, like a fucking cow. And then so like it stuck. It became his nickname as Moo, the sound a cow makes. And because he's spotted like a cow. And then when we were in Gentilly, it was the only other name he would respond to. So we couldn't give him a character name. Because Mango sounds dumb. Like, why would a Lao kid living in Vientiane call her dog Mango, right? Like, she would call him Muang, which is a word for mango. But so I was like, Moo. He responds to me because he's like ridiculously stupid. I mean, look at that tiny head. There's no brains in there. We have to give him a name that he already responds to. And as you can see in Gentilly, he barely responds to that, you know? And Moo is really ironic because it means pig in Lao language and in Thai language. So if you like go to a restaurant, you order like fried rice with Moo, it'll be pork fried rice.
Okay.
And we just thought it was so fucking funny. Like the dumbest inside joke ever. Like a skinny dog is named Pig, you know, or Pork. And so like that evolved. He grew up. We got Pocky, the Shepherdy dog, the Shepherdy thing. And one day I came home and Chris had been calling her Beans all day, like just Beans. And she was responding because this dog is like obscenely intelligent, by the way. So like we have dumbass Moo, and we have dumbass Saoirse, who's a sausage. But Pocky is like ridiculously smart because she's like this shepherdy thing. And he was calling her Beans, and she was like, yeah, that's my name, Beans. That's my other name, my second name. I was like, why Beans? And he's like, you know, Moo, pork and beans, all right? Pork and beans, get it?
I thought it was because the dog kept farting.
Explanation. But that's why like Pocky's short name is Beans.
So that you just hit on something too that's pretty interesting to me, because you had this, you know, like this life doing the dance conservatory and ballet, and then you transitioned over into film with first Chantilly and Dear Sister, and of course The Long Walk. What was the pivot point for you? Like, what was the I need to go make this film? The first.
There was never I need to make this film, like, which sounds bad because obviously when you see Dearest Sister and when you see Long Walk, you can see there's a need for me to make those films, right? Like you can tell that I have like a story that that's burning inside of me that I really want to tell. I have a need to express something, but Gentilly was not that.
Okay.
It was literally the pivot point was I was in Lao. I thought my dad was going crazy. My whole family had an intervention without my dad there. And they were just like, what do we do? We're in America. dad's in Lao, mom is dead. And he like suddenly called us and was like, hey, I got married. Come over to Lao, meet my new wife. She's younger than my daughter. We're like, what the fuck is happening in Lao?
Oh no.
Dad's gone nuts. You guys, like, I don't want to sound like a total bitch, but we thought he was like getting the wool pulled over his eyes. Like he met some kind of like, back then there was no Tinder, but like some Tinder scammer type. Do you know what I mean? And so like my brothers and I like gathered in Sacramento, where my oldest brother lives. And like we literally drove from Utah to have this discussion. Because at the time I was at the Salt Lake City Ballet Conservatory teaching. And they were like, what is going on with dad? Dad is squandering his, life savings. And he's married this younger woman. And somebody needs to go to Lao and check on dad to make sure he hasn't like gone off the fucking rails. And like, my dad doesn't know how to use Twitter or Facebook, so he'll never see this. I can say these things.
Fair.
But if
he
does,
uses the YouTube. Right. Hi, Dad. He uses YouTube and like sometimes not very well. And like literally my brothers all looked at me and Chris and were like, oh, well, you two artists don't have real jobs, right? Like the fucking ballet teacher and the writer.
Oh God.
Like, that's how they saw it. Like we don't have importance in the cultural arts industry, basically. And my older brother, albeit I get it, like he has an office job. My older brother worked for the state of California. He continues to work for the state of California. My youngest brother was in the fucking military. He was a Navy man. Like, so he couldn't have gone anyway. Like the youngest for sure could not have gone. And so they all like were like, yeah, well, you two need to go and check on dad and make sure he's like not, gone off the deep end. And we had intended to just go for a summer. And when we went, it was like, I was dying because I couldn't take a ballet class. There was like no ballet. The ballet classes that were available here were super fake. It was like they watched YouTube and like kind of assessed what ballet could resemble.
Okay.
Oh no.
It was bad. And we're like selling fancy costumes and charging like people for lessons, and people were super happy to take the lesson because they got to wear the fancy costumes. And I was like, you don't wear these costumes to class. Like these are performance costumes, like nobody wears a tutu in class. Like, what's going on here? And Chris was like trying to figure out what Lao film was because he's such a film person. Like he was going to the cinema multiple times a week while I was in ballet school. And I was going once a week to see like whatever dumb blockbuster was in the cinema as our like date night, right? And so he was like suffering because there was no cinema. We had a bootleg cinema in a mall that was called iTech. And literally they had an office projector and a DVD player. And they were just, I'm not joking, you guys.
That's like scraping for like the last bit of cocaine after night. It's like there's gotta be something here in the
and there's no copyright law in Laos, so they were like playing DVDs and charging people $1 a ticket to play these DVDs in this like makeshift cinema in this mall that was not even hardly a mall. It was like it's a super haphazard place. It's like a tent city type place. And Chris was like, this is not a cinema. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is going on? And we found this production company called Lao Art Media. And they had made this movie called Sabai Long Pabang in like the year 2000 or something, or 2001. And they had made a bunch of like these educational films, like, don't get the bird flu, like cook your meat thoroughly. Wash your hands when you cook. They were doing all these like NGO edutainment films. And he was like, they were active. Like, why aren't they making films anymore? He's like, I want to seek them out. I just want to understand what like the environment of Lao, the atmosphere of Lao cinema is like. And he doesn't speak Lao. He's just like a white American boy. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I can help you with this because I'm obviously not dancing. So we stumbled into this party like we crashed this party, but everyone said it was okay to crash, like just go. Like we got like a second-hand invite that was for the first Luang Prabang Film Festival, a press conference. And that's where we met Lao Art Media. And they were just like, there's no film. There's no film in Lao. We had film in the pre-revolutionary days, we had film, propaganda type films. And then we made films, but Anderson and Domi, my producers, were like, we're old. Like, we can't do this anymore. And then we, like, literally, they said that to us, like, while drinking whiskey, by the way. They're like, we're old. We just, like, we want to take a step back. We want to produce, but, like, there's nobody coming to us with content. And I hate calling film content, but, like, nobody was coming to them with stories. There were no, like, new directors. The only other new director was this young boy who had just, young man, who had just, like, he was in his senior year of university in Thailand. And he was making a Lao thriller called After Horizon, but it was his thesis film, you know, and that's all we had.
Yeah.
And Chris was like, well, maybe I can help you with that because I am a writer, like ding, 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 you know? And they like jumped on that shit, you guys. They like were like, what? Film writer, American, awesome. Like he must be Hollywood or something. No, like he worked at an Italian film school. His sensibilities are so European, it's ridiculous. Like the boy left America when he was like 19 or 20 and hasn't been back since. Like he spent like a year and a half with me at Salt Lake City Ballet Conservatory, and that was like his American experience in adulthood. And
he did escapes to the cinema while there, yeah.
Right. So we went to their office the next day and they're like, here's your office. And we're like, what? We came to visit. They're like, you're hired, right? And there was air conditioning. There was Wi-Fi, which back in 2010, there wasn't Wi-Fi, you guys. We didn't have Wi-Fi in Lao. You had to go to an internet cafe and pay 10,000 ki, which was a little more than $1 an hour to use internet. And it was like janky ass internet on like shitty computers filled with viruses, you know, like it was terrible. And home internet wasn't a thing. 3G, 4G was not a thing. And when they were like, we have Wi-Fi, he was just like, I'm in. You know, like, I'm in. I can download Lost again. And so they were like, yeah, make us a movie. And he's like, I can do that. I can make you a movie. And he'd always dreamt of it. Like before we left Utah and California, we bought this little camera. It's here, actually. This little guy, this little Canon, I think in America it's called the Rebel T2i. It's like not even $500. And it's the Rebel, no, it's called the Canon 550D, I think, in everywhere else but America. And so he'd always been like, oh, I'm going to make a team and we'll just make our own film someday with this little DSLR camera. But that team did not involve me. I was like going to do the makeup on this team, right? It had nothing to do with me. And so they're like, you can write us a film. He's like, I can do that. He's like, they're like, you can shoot us a film. He's like, I can also do that. Now he can't, because now he's got like shaky hands from arthritis. And they're like, and you can direct it. He's like, I cannot do that. So I cannot do
it. Real quick, why can't he do that? Like, so I figure
he's
if he
a writer. Why would he direct films? We chain him into a dark room onto a keyboard and like whip him until a film script appears. But like we don't ask him to interact with people. Jesus.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that part would be a thing. But I guess like as a writer, you kind of got like the whole thing.
Fired him putting pants on.
I kind of wonder about so you said you kind of just sort of fell into the director role in a way, right?
Well, I was there translating for him.
Yeah, but I mean,
he doesn't speak loud.
As far as it seems like, as far as with ballet, you would have the experience of like kind of organizing people and keeping them, you know. I could see the kind of the stage like part of it, but how about the filmic like visual part of it? How did that come to you?
So here, the story continues. The story continues over our drinks and chips. So that he's like, no, I don't do this director thing. No, like one, not a director, writer, like bearded guy who sits in his underwear at home in front of a computer all fucking day. No social skills. Two, I don't speak loud. He's like, it wouldn't be right for like this white boy to be trying to make Lao film, and he can't even communicate with the actors because he doesn't even speak Lao, and he wouldn't be able to like tell if the dialogue was correct or not, right? Because it's not his language. And literally, my bosses, like my producers at the time, were like, "Well, you're useless. Like, why are you here? Like, wait, you said you were a filmmaker." And he was like, fuck, I'm gonna lose this Wi-Fi. I'm gonna lose the air conditioning, and I'm gonna lose the Wi-Fi. I mean, Lao is a hot country, you guys. It's like regularly 40 degrees here, but I don't know what 40 degrees is in America. Hot. It's really hot.
It's getting cool.
Yeah. And he was like panicking because they gave him an office and everything. And he was like, well, she can direct. My wife can direct. She's a Lao person and she can speak Lao. And she's got like years and years of performing arts experience. And like, yes, there it is, you guys, the stage thing, right? This performing arts experience. And I like literally was like, what? Like, excuse me, motherfucker? Like, what just fell out of your mouth? And then we realized that they both spoke English really well, Domini and Anderson. Domini speaks English even better. Like, he's basically fluent in English. And he was like, oh, that's great. Like, an artist, like a performing artist, that's perfect. Of course you can direct film. And I was like, I teach 7-year-olds like how to plie and how to tippy toe. Literally, I would say I teach 7-year-olds the difference between right foot and left foot, but like that's a really advanced skill, actually. Right and left. It's like it takes a while for these kids to learn right and left. Like at some point, I put a sticker on the right foot, and I have to tell them your right foot is your sticker foot. You know.
Oh no.
But Bruce is right. If I can teach a 7-year-old right foot, left foot, stage right, stage left, and how to do like a fucking uncut one take routine for like 5 to 10 minutes on stage with no tears and no falling, I can direct a bunch of grown-ass adults. And let me tell you, sometimes the grown-ass adults are more difficult than the 7-year-old child. Let me tell you.
Is it more personality or like the whole like I'm an actor, I'm big shit, or is it more like someone's more set in their ways and you have to try to pull an emotion out of them that they maybe haven't tapped in a while?
Generally, it's a lot of everything. It's a lot of all of that. I'm really lucky because with my Lao actors, they're not film actors.
Right.
The majority of them have no experience in film at all. And then the other half are stage actors or theater actors, or who have done like music videos or etc. And so they're really easy to work with because they're not coming onto any project being like, I'm an actor, I know how it's done, this is the way that it's done. They're not trying to school me or anything like that. So that's really great. But the whole set in their ways because they're adults, that's difficult. Communicating with them can be a little bit difficult. And just ego sometimes in general, like I'm an adult, I have a certain way of approaching things. They have a lot more inhibitions, whereas children in ballet, I'm not saying children in film, the children in film too, because as you guys saw, there was a very young actor in The Long Walk.
Yes.
Children have this trust for you. When you build a relationship with children, they just have this trust for you, and you can communicate with them so openly, and you have to find a different way to help them to understand what it is that you want. But that's my problem. Like, if there's an issue, that's my bad. Like, I need to learn or figure out how I can communicate the sentiment that I need them to understand, because they're children and they haven't had the life experiences to understand what a time traveling serial killer is.
Right.
Or like, for instance, in a ballet, ballets are super rated R, you guys. You don't know because you just see a bunch of women in tiaras and tutus prancing around on their tippy toes. But like the subject matter is quite rated R and is usually genre. Like ballets are highly fantastic films. They're ghost films, or werewolf and witchcraft films. They're zombie films. They're super genre, the subject matter of ballet. And to explain to a child that you're dancing as a slave child to a golden idol that will be sacrificed at some point. This is difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult concepts to relay, but you need to find a creative way to help them to exude the right performance and attitude without necessarily understanding what the fuck is going on.
I feel like there needs to be a Mattie Do genre ballet film at some point. I mean,
Oh my God.
Because when I think about the, of course there's like Suspiria and like, I guess we count Black Swan, but like, I want to know what Mattie Do's version of that might be.
Oh, I have two, but they're really difficult. It's they're hard to work around. So they're on the back burner right now. But one is one that is on the back burner, and that Chris is like, he's not thinking about it right now, but it's something we are working on. And it's a cosmic horror ballet film.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God.
cosmic
Yes.
fucking horror, like Lovecraft.
Hold on.
And I want it to be like,
can you say that again slower? Cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror Lovecraftian ballet film.
Why do I feel like
Oh,
you and
that is nice.
Peter Strickland need to meet up at some point?
I
Oh
mean,
my God.
one of my favorite Lovecraft stories is really low key and short. I mean, I like a lot of Lovecraft stories, but it's one of the shorter stories. And it's I don't even know the name of it, but I think it's either called like The Music of Eric Zahn or The Violin of Eric Zahn or something. And it's about a violinist who has completely found a different level and skill of playing that basically opens up a portal to the old gods and to whatnot cosmic horror, right? Another dimension that gives him that. And this is the thing about Lovecraft that he always does, like the weird angles, or you've like stumbled upon art or science that is beyond human capacity and beyond human understanding. And it's giving you access to a layer of the world that you have not seen before or experienced before. And it drives you fucking insane. And I was like, well, if the music or violin of Eric Zahn, I don't remember the name, I apologize, you guys, could do this, then what about ballet? Because ballet is this constant strive to, I would not call ballet a strive for perfection. I think it's, Black Swan talks about that. A lot of people who write in a general sense about ballet always talks about that. No, ballet is this constant effort to do better than what was previously set before. In the old days, like executing a double pirouette was like the standard for ballet. It was like, wow, you did a double pirouette. That's great. You could be a professional dancer. And then now it's like triple is the minimum. And now you watch these girls like on stage and on YouTube, on TikTok, they're like 4, 5, 6 pirouettes. They're turning like men because men have a more compact center of gravity. And so they're able to make more rotations. But like women have seen that here was a bar that was set and now we need to exceed that. And it's the same thing with like the body type. The body type has gotten more extreme. I admit that it has gotten more extreme. And it's not just skinniness, by the way. I think it's really shallow for people to say that ballet is all about being skinny. In fact, it's like about being muscular, but in this weirdly lean way, and about being hyperextended, like where your knees go almost backwards like a bird.
Oh, wow.
And about having like insane flexibility and insane foot flexibility. So you have like foot cleavage. So when you put your foot, when I put my foot, it's straight like this, which is extremely undesirable. It's really bad. But when a professional ballerina points their foot, her foot like almost falls out of her shoe. It curves out.
Oh, wow.
And these are things that you're born with. You can't be trained to do that. And so these extremes, people are always like getting more and more extreme. And I was like, in cosmic horror, it's about like breaking past that barrier of extreme, that it opens up a world that you cannot understand, that you cannot comprehend. And we could do this with ballet, like as a lore.
It sounds like the way you describe ballet, it almost reminds me of, it sounds like more like a sport where you things like gymnastics or ice skating, where they're always that. And that's interesting because the way you're describing it too, it's like, instead of trying to be perfect, this person trying to drive over whatever edge they've already had even further.
Yes.
And that's opening up, like you said, the portal or whatever it might be.
Yes.
Plus it just lets you do whatever you want to do.
100%.
Cosmic insanity. So
well, also like this mastery of the body, it's almost mystical, isn't it? Don't you guys feel like the human body feels so limited, but what if you can master it past a certain point? You would be like superhuman. That is, if you could pass these limitations, that is cosmic horror. You've like
there's
shed that stupid limited shell of yours.
Don't you see, there's a lot of that happening right now in film too. You see a lot of it with like Titan recently, if you saw Titan, or where you see or anything Cronenberg did, where you get these weird things of combining bodies and machines and like this kind of this morphing or evolution of bodies and things. So yeah, you can do a lot of interesting stuff with that.
Oh, I'm super excited about it. And so that's something that we've taken a lot of notes on and that we'd like to get back to. I think that a ballet film is a little bit difficult with COVID, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Also, I refuse to have non-dancers in my film, which will be hard to finance because financiers, it's expensive to have like dancers and all the right set pieces and to do a cosmic horror film. But also like, I can see when you use an actor who does not dance in a ballet film. I could see it in Black Swan, the moments when it wasn't her.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to, I can't say all of them because they had some like cool face replacement technology, right? So like, obviously not all the moments I can't spot, but there were definitely moments where I was like, yeah, that's Natalie Portman. Like, airplane arms. Come on, like that Birds of Paradise movie. It's like that. I don't know, like they spent 2 days in a dance studio and like were inspired by it or something. I don't know. Like they were not dancers. The main characters were not. And so I want real dancers because for myself, it'd be easier to communicate with them. And secondly, I think we need to respect the art of ballet, you know, and by respecting the art of ballet, we respect film too. You know,
especially in, you know, the conceit that you have here about sort of tapping into the liminal spaces that exist when we push our bodies beyond kind of like the last realm of what was considered perfection or something like that. You need to have someone who reads on screen and on stage as competent and capable, and having a legitimate dancer makes a lot of sense for that, especially again, you know that language, you communicate with them.
Right. But and then I have a second ballet film that I think is in development, but my husband is not in agreement.
Fair.
He's my writer, so he should be in agreement, right? He's not in agreement, but I've pitched it to like multiple studios and they like it. Like they like it, even though it's kind of a fucking joke. But hey, like if they like it, he's got to get on board, right? Because if they're behind it, like it could happen.